wanna sleep in, cause I got something to prove. I gotta take what I hate and finally make a move. I think of you and all the shit you don't do. Well, I'ma make hella sure that I don't become you. I have no regrets, yeah, I'll tie up my chest. I'll never forget what it's like to be in debt. Been stabbed in the back bed, I'll show you what happens. Pass me the mic and I'll show you with action. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money show. I've got these things that I can't let go. Watch me turn this life into something that you can never own. I feel this pain, you already know. Turn that to gains, let my money.
Sammy, how are you? The Natural joins me again tonight here on Even Strength. How are you doing?
Oh, so good. I'm so glad to be back after such a long layoff. Almost healthy, almost good, almost great. There's nothing better than talking some puck because we're only a couple of weeks away. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Can you imagine? We took 2 weeks off. Okay. You weren't feeling hot. I had some other things going on. We had a couple of conflicts. And lo and behold, we come back. And for me, now, I don't know when your first game is, but September 26th, which is my birthday, the Rangers were nice enough to call me and say, hey, would you like a game that night? And I was like, yeah.
So it's funny you say that because I've been the last couple of days going over the schedules and the calendars and looking at the Blue Jays, the Maple Leafs, and trying to figure out what we're going to do. And I think we're going to do it. We're going to do the September 24th, doubleheader, 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock. The Leafs, the Sens, we're going all in on day one. Can't wait.
That's what should happen. It's an exciting time. Hockey's coming back. For me, football starts Sunday. Giants game, which we're going to be doing Sunday night, 4:25 start. But let's say hey to everybody because we haven't said hi to everybody in a while. We got Purple Queen in. I think I know who Deanna is. Hello there. Hope you're feeling better. Derek, what's happening? I saw you in a stream before. I also saw Brian Wasco, Pete Coat Train, as well as Monroe Forever Steve. Lucas, welcome in. And then I think you had a new member.
Blair. Blair's been around for a while. I'm so thankful for Blair. He had a renewal just the other day. So we thank Blair and all of our members for hanging out. And hello, Purple, Jacob, Derek, Brian, Steve, everybody.
And Crystal stopped by before to give us some well wishes. She's, I think, running around Halloween Horror Nights. I had the pleasure of finally meeting her for the first time while standing under the Pumpkin Lord. So that was fun.
Was awesome. I messaged her earlier in the day, and I'm like, have so much fun tonight. I'm like, by the way, Dave's going to be there. You got to find him. So I was so happy I was watching when you guys had that little moment. That was awesome.
It was a lot of fun. For those of you who are watching, we did Halloween Horror Nights. More to come. There was a good joke that because I can't reach them right now, but you see over my shoulder right there. I blew my ACL out right before we went to Halloween Horror Nights, and it was really bad after Halloween Horror Nights. So my new brace came in today, so I will be back at Halloween Horror Nights with a blown ACL, which would be a lot of fun. Hockey players don't mind pain. We just keep going.
That is true. And, Halloween Horror Nights is a perfect segue to talk about the Arizona Coyotes. Because talk about a horror scene. Jacob, happy birthday for yesterday.
Happy birthday, Jacob.
Appreciate that. So, did you hear the Arizona Coyotes named their new stadium? They gave it a name. Oh, and this just keeps giving and giving and giving.
Hold on.
I don't have the appropriate.
Is it the Acme Center?
It is the Mullet Arena.
No. Come on. No, you're kidding.
No, the team that keeps on giving
has
done it again. Look it up.
I'm fact checking.
Arena.
Fact checking. Dude.
like, do they sit around the room going, guys, it'd be really funny if we name this the Mullet Arena. Like, come on.
The only thing that makes it worse is if it was the Acme Center. And it was like, and it literally had the old Acme stamp on the side of the building, like they used to do when Wile E. Coyote would get a crate delivered to go after the Roadrunner. That is about the only thing that would make that better. The Mullet Center. What the hell is it named after? Is it Joe Dirt?
It's I don't know. There got to be a company in Arizona, but they have. I'm covering the prices. Oh, you can't see it because of the wonderful green screen technology. The seating map is up. Vivid Seats. You can go in and look to buy tickets. Now we know there's only 5,000 approximate seats in the stadium. Do you know how much they're selling?
Oh, come on, tell me.
Section 115, which is kind of in the corner behind the net, not center.
Yeah.
Behind the net is section 116 and 115, right?
Right.
So it's kind of in the corner a little bit. The cheap seats that are available, 2 tickets, section 115, row B. So I got to imagine row B is like almost right behind the glass.
Yeah.
$246 a piece.
Oh, come on. So basically, it's going to be like playing when I used to play when I was 13, and you look up in the bleachers and there were 6 people there.
Yeah.
Who the hell's going to pay that?
These are probably somewhat resale because I don't know who Vivid Seats are, but like, come on, that's ridiculous. If even at $200 a piece, I mean, yes, it's going to be good action. You're close, but if they're having trouble filling the stadium, when I got to imagine tickets were probably $40, $50. You're not filling it at $250.
There she is. Look who just joined us. Boom! Crystal Palace in the house. Oh, wait. Nope, that was Deanna. Where did Crystal go? I saw the name Crystal come up, and I was like, oh, Crystal's here. There she is. It was there. I did see it.
Psyching us out. No, there she is. Crystal, what's up?
The chat jumped, and I was like,
UNC.
I was like, where did that go? Crystal Palace in the house, everybody. It was a pleasure meeting you the other night, Crystal. It was a lot of fun. I know you're having a blast at Halloween Horror Nights. So, and then Gator Ghost just showed up. That's almost as good as the Pumpkin Lord. So
here it is. It says the Mullet Arena, originally ASU Multipurpose Arena, is a 5,000-seat indoor multipurpose arena under construction in Tempe, Arizona. It will be the home of the Arizona State Sun Devils men's ice hockey team. Temporary venue to the Arizona Coyotes. Holy moly, this isn't so temporary. 2022 to 2025. That's a long
That's
time.
so that they can get a deal to move them.
It has to be.
Dude, where are they going? There's no other stadium being built.
I don't know. The Mullet Arena, it's actually a pretty cool logo, although it kind of looks like...
is it Joe Dirt and a Barracuda?
No, it's like Triton's staff, although, I don't know. I got to find out who this mullet is.
I'm telling you, it's Joe Dirt's younger brother. It's Mullet Dirt. Dude, I'm sorry, but this you actually put it best. This is the gift that keeps on giving. I mean, Mullet Arena, you literally cannot, you couldn't have made that any better. And I love how they're like, oh, it's temporary. Don't worry about it. It's like
temporary for the next 3 years.
Yeah,
oh
temporary.
My goodness. Well, that's so. I thought you'd get a kick out of that. It's so awesome. But it's like there's so much more great stuff going on. I'm gonna delete that.
I gotta tell you, dude. $246 is killing me right now.
It's true. And Gator goes, you put mandatory mullets, you guarantee they're gonna have mullet night. That if you go and get your hair cut in a mullet, you're getting a free hot dog and a popcorn or something.
For $246, they should come down and give you the mullet and give you a back rub. There's going to be a barbershop in there that's doing mullets. If they're not, they're stupid. That would be a brilliant marketing. And by the way, their hat should be a mullet.
Forget the hat; it should be sewed into their helmet.
That too.
Come in with that.
Like it should be a hat. You put it on, and down comes the mullet in the back. I mean, but $246, dude. I thought you were going to tell me. And let me tell you something. At $89, I would have cringed.
Yeah,
I'm not kidding.
It's ridiculous,
dude. $39. And by the way, for $49 a ticket, it should include 2 beers and a dog and free parking. Yeah, Derek wants to know whether or not Yager signed yet.
he may be the only thing that saves him. I'm trying to see.
Wow. Oh,
they're on. Okay, let's see.
I don't know what to do with that. I mean, it's funny, but it's also really sad because this team's got problems from the get-go. And by the way, where their team goes, our team goes. Why? Because we're all connected in a cap era.
Yeah.
So if they don't draw ticket sales and they don't add to the revenue, they count against us at a 32 factor. So when they go ahead and they say, well, what teams did what? They're a handicap. This is stupid. Can we just vote him off the island now?
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can go in and find single game tickets to see what it would cost. But right now it looks like you can only get packs.
So not only do they hold on a second, is the 246 for 10 games? Because
I don't know.
That I might buy.
That site that I was on before that I had the image from looked like it was single games. But this is through the official. So it's probably people who bought season seats and were reselling them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because those sections, most of them are kind of blocked out. How much are seasons? What's a season ticket?
Dude, I thought you were going to tell me for 80 games. So you got 40 home games. I figured you were going to tell me like a block of tickets for season, like would be like $400. Like, how are you getting people to go to this? It's a disaster. Not to mention the fact, not only are they atrocious, but how good can this team possibly be? How good can they possibly be?
They're not going to be. They're not going to be great. They do have some good young prospects that are going. And I will say this is seat map they have to pick your tickets. This is actually pretty good. I've seen some pretty good seat maps, or some pretty lousy seat maps. This one actually looks pretty spectacular. This is where all their money's gone into this.
Let me tell you something. The only young prospects they should have, it should have LED lights on the ground. There should be a gold pole right in the middle. And they should be about every 15 feet around the arena with girls named Ginger and Savannah. Like, other than that, you're not getting me to that game at 246. Are you out of your mind? 246.
Yeah, is this a 5-game pack or whatever? It's like $1,000.
No, dude, just stop. I'm already in pain. You're gonna hurt me more. This actually hurts me.
5 events included, and it's over $1,000. Oh, Arizona. Oh, dude, Arizona.
The car that you have to drive with the mullet haircut to the arena isn't worth $1,000.
If the flight to Arizona wasn't so bloody expensive, I would be tempted to go down and check it out.
So it's funny you should say that. If the tickets were cheap, when we did our West Coast tour, when we went out there, I was going to do it as a joke. And I was going to pull in and be like, yo, dude, you're never going to believe this. I'm going live from a Coyote game. But at $200, they couldn't give me the tickets at this point. Even if they gave them to me, I think I'd scalp them in the parking lot for like a hot dog. The hot dog has more value to me.
Oh God, that's really funny.
It's sad.
We do have what day was it? Because I was going through my schedule. Maybe I didn't add it here. I haven't actually scheduled the stream yet, but Toronto is seeing Arizona the 17th, October 17th. It's a Monday. Now, unfortunately, it's not in Arizona. It's in Toronto, but we're going to do that game. We're going to get our first look at the Coyotes coming to town. It's going to be a blast.
Now, what's really bad is a lot of teams are going to underestimate them, and they're going to lose because of it. But I I almost feel like if you're a professional hockey team and you pull up to this arena, you go, were we bad? Like, did we do something wrong? Like, I don't get it. Like, I can't get there. And the best part is you're like, oh, it's temporary. It's the next 4 seasons.
Yeah, real temporary.
Like, wait,
it's a good question. Is that enough time for them to move somewhere else? Because if they're not building a new arena anywhere, we know when you build a new arena, it takes several years. It's a big undertaking. So what's going to happen at the end of that 4 years?
They're going to be the Quebec Nordiques. I don't know. I mean,
that would be awesome.
I like. Look, it's not a hockey market. It's evident by the fact that it's 5,000 fans. And by the way, there's still seats available. Okay, like last time I checked, and I don't know about your fan base, but did you try and get a home opener ticket? I bet they're hard to come by.
Our home opener tickets for one ticket at the Glass cost more than their entire season.
In the wherever you could sit on the bench for that price. So, like,
no kidding.
I'm sorry, but at the end of the day, I can't get there. I'm murdered by this. Road Warrior, what's happening? I'm literally I'm murdered.
Let's take this a step further, because there are some real stories, but I don't want to go there yet. Talking about defunct teams, and yes, I consider Arizona practically defunct.
You really?
The Atlanta Thrashers. You remember the Atlanta Thrashers?
Are they coming back, and are they changing the names of the Coyotes?
No, but whoever is managing this Twitter account that's called @NotThrashers, they've actually changed the name to Atlanta Thrashers. They are fantastic. They put out a tweet. This is not too long ago. It's a picture of Lou Lamoriello holding the phone, and on the picture it says 0 free agents signed. And the tweet from the Atlanta Thrashers says, the New York Islanders have the same amount of free agents signed as the Atlanta Thrashers.
You know,
spectacular.
You actually just brought up a really good point. Why can't they go to Atlanta?
They're still paying the debt for being in Atlanta.
Like, Coyotes should go to Atlanta.
I actually think I didn't mind the Thrashers when they were there. I didn't think they had the best strategies to begin with.
No, it was bad. It was bad management.
They could support it, and it would actually be really good to see them go back.
I got to be honest with you. After you said it, I sat there and I started thinking about it, and I was like, between that or Charlotte. But Charlotte's so close to Raleigh that you got the Hurricanes that you would almost have to. You would almost could bring in an Atlanta league. There are Coyotes in Atlanta, so you could make them the Atlanta Coyotes, and it would be still the A Coyotes, which would be just like Arizona Coyotes. So they wouldn't even have to change the monogram. They wouldn't even have to change the logo on the uniform. They could just move, and that actually makes sense.
It would be very, very interesting to see. And listen, when the Thrashers were there originally, we're talking like Kovalchuk and Heatley and some of these guys, and they just couldn't amount to.
The entire team was a bunch of goons.
Yeah, and I think this Coyote team, as much as we make fun of them, they do have a lot of good young prospects. So in a couple of years, they could be a decent team if it's managed properly.
Like I said, but you got to put them into a market. And if we're sitting here and we're being pretty open and honest about it, we have to literally sit there and say, well, wait a second. What are the available markets? Because you can't just stick a hockey team anywhere. It's got to be able to, A, you have to have a building. B, you do have to actually have people that want to watch the sport. Now, the entire Midwest would accept a new hockey team and not care. Why? There's 50,000 skating stadiums developing the next hockey player. And Canada, by the way, is the same. Like, it could go any one of the major network areas in Canada and be fine. But when you look at major markets that could take it, support it, have the money to fund it, we were saying Quebec. Quebec is definitely up there. Hartford's another one. But do we want another team in the Northeast in that area? No, I think that was the problem with the Whalers in the first place.
Yeah.
But there's no team in the Southeast. You got the Hurricanes, and then your next team is Tampa. So that actually makes a lot of sense. Like, I could see them bringing back an Atlanta team for the division. That would actually be really cool.
That would be very, very interesting.
So Derek wants to know why they don't talk about Milwaukee, Cleveland, or Cincinnati, because they suck. No, I'm just kidding. Milwaukee could probably handle that, but look at the Brewers. Like, you have to look at the existing organizations around something and ask, what are the fans like? All right, like, I'm sorry, but it's a business call, and I know that if they're looking at Cleveland, Cincinnati, Milwaukee, can you find a franchise in any of those that have done anything in the last ever? And we'll go from there. But at least in Atlanta, you're giving them a fresh start. Plus, the Braves are not that bad. The Hawks aren't bad. You know, I'm not saying they're great, but at least the Braves have some lineage. Hey, I told you I pissed off Dallas. There she is. What's happening, Dallas?
Dallas, what's up?
So, the bottom line is, could you see a team in Atlanta? Like, I think if we were sitting here, we were being pretty straightforward. I mean, you have Texas as a big enough state that could take another team, but they don't have the arena. So, what existing arenas? No, I was kidding, Dallas. I actually made a joke with Sam earlier that we were joking around about the women's Canadian hockey gold. So, it was really just one of those things where who's got a stadium that's not falling apart, because you don't want to sink money into it either. I have no idea what that Thrasher Stadium looks like, but it's interesting to think about it.
Cleveland would be an interesting choice because they support anyone. The Browns have sucked for a long time, and
that's just because of the beer.
That's true.
They discount the beer.
But even like the Cavaliers, like when LeBron left both times, they still came out. They still supported. So that would be interesting. I don't know the shape of their stadium, how easily it could be converted into a hockey rink, but that would be an interesting choice. And it's right in that kind of mecca near Detroit and whatnot.
See, and that's the other side of it is, would you get like brawls between Cleveland and Detroit? So, Dallas, I told you my position, and I have no problem saying it publicly. Let me know when it's a real game. Just saying.
Hey, I plead the sick.
First of all, Sam was sick. He had the vid to the O to the CIVD, and I only watch NHL, so I'm covered. I don't even watch anything else now. So I'm going to stick to my story, because everybody always says, well, why don't you watch college football? I'd rather be shot. So
it was I put on the game halfway through the first period or towards the end of the first. It was a really darn good hockey game.
I'm sure it was, but I had to do my hair. The laundry needed to be done. There was some dusting. There was
talking about dusting. Can I jump on that for a second?
Yeah, I had to eat a taco. There was all kinds of stuff going
on. Something else has been dusted off and coming back, and then this was an interesting move. The Buffalo Sabres have announced the goat head is returning for this season.
Really?
Which, I didn't know it was a goat head. I thought it was like a bison head. But hey, we'll go with goat. Sure.
Dallas, Sabres, I did. They actually look really nice. They're done. They're really good. See, I actually like that uniform. I like that, and I think that it does them a lot of good. I'm a fan of that big saber head. Like, I think it's cool, the buffalo. I like it. I think it's cool. I think if they do it right, it should be done the best way imaginable. Look, you and I have talked about this offline. I think every team, including the original 6 that run from it, with the exception of that Bieber jersey, should have black jerseys that have that logo. Like, there's a lot of times those pregame jerseys are cool. And
Yeah.
when they're doing like the army ones that are camouflage or
Those are
whatever,
sick.
whatever they're supporting that week, I do like a lot of those jerseys. And I'd love to see a Black Ranger jersey if it was done right with the red, white, and blue with it. I think it would look really cool. So
That would be pretty cool.
But
so here's a couple signings that took place over the last couple of weeks. Just a few major ones. This first guy, I've been talking about him the whole back half of the year. Tage Thompson, the Buffalo Sabres, signs a 7-year, $50 million contract. So 7 years, 7.1, which isn't that pretty much the same as what Kadri signed for? 7 for 7?
Pretty much, yeah. 7x7 deal.
So good for Thompson. He's locked into Buffalo big time. Buffalo's going to be scary.
It's a huge
scary
extension.
business.
There's no doubt it's a huge extension. And Buffalo has quietly done a good job of rebuilding. I'm sure you're about to bring up Ottawa.
Well, before I was going to go to Ottawa, I was going to go to Montreal because I want to get that choke out of my throat.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you.
Montreal, Kirby Dach signing 4 years, $13.45 million, so 3.36 average.
It's a good
nice
salary.
Signing. Montreal, they're locking in the players. They're doing good. There was actually a clip that was played. They made the trade. So I think it was the GM of Montreal on the draft floor. There was a video of him calling Kirby just to say, "Hey, welcome." Blah blah. It was quite interesting. You don't get to see a lot of those behind the scenes phone calls taking place. So that was cool. Kirby with a nice little deal for himself, going to make Montreal that much stronger. But Ottawa, holy moly,
Boom.
the Strutzel man himself.
Boom.
8 years, $8.35 million. Holy cow!
Let me tell you something.
Now
that sets a precedent, though, between he and JT Miller, which we'll get to him in a minute. This is a pretty big signing because I didn't think he'd garnish that much money.
Don't mean either. I was shocked.
I'm not going to tell you I didn't scratch my head, especially with Ottawa making the moves that they're making. That's a lot of capital to lock up on one person for that extended time, because you got to figure 5 to 6 years with a no trade clause. So if you got no trade clause for 5 to 6 years, you're stuck with that salary for a while. And I'd like to point out with what Dallas said, if Don Cherry didn't tweet about it, it must not exist. So other than that, I would say, Ottawa really is there. They've made a tremendous amount of moves. You and I were joking about them. And then all of a sudden after the draft, both you and I were like, okay. And then they made some trades and we're like, oh, okay. They're in a lot better shape. They're trying to solidify long-term deals. I get it. But do you think it was worth 8.35?
No, not. I mean, he was good. He has a lot of potential.
Did you hear what you said? You said was.
Yeah. I don't think he was worth that much money at this point in time. It's way too early in his career. But I guess Ottawa's figuring they want to make a run. They want to make several runs, and they need to secure all these talent, or they're just going to go elsewhere.
But $1 million lighter, I think it's a better deal.
Yeah, I would agree. I still think it's a lot for Strutzel.
I think it was a 6.75 deal, in my opinion. As soon as I read it, the number that popped in my head was 6.5, 6.75. I don't think it's worth $8.35 million. That means that he wanted more, and they met in the middle because nobody agrees to 3.5. All right, that's a meeting number. They came down from 8.5, and they came up a little from 8.25, and they met in the middle. That's the negotiation right there. And no. But
it's
they did it.
A lot of money for a kid.
They locked it up, and then the monster deal of the year, and I bet you there's going to be a serious regret from Vancouver. Tell us about that one.
JT Miller, the man who is rumored to go to probably about a dozen teams over the last several months, locks up 7 years, $56 million.
So he got less money.
Huge deal.
He got less money.
Yeah, he got less money, but it makes me wonder, is something else brewing here? Is this a sign and potential trade deal?
This is a trade deal. I said the same exact thing you just said. By the way, hey, Charlie. Hey, Bucks. I thought the same thing. Now, did you feel that way? Because when I heard it, because Bernie obviously blew my phone up and he was like, dude, JT Miller's he's staying 7 years. That's $8 million a year. And I'm like, what? He could have gotten 10 million in other places.
Yeah, my thought is we're going to give this a run. We made a bunch of good moves. If the first half of the season does not go as we expect it to, this will be a trade deadline type of deal, or just before trade deadline.
Or draft.
Yeah.
Because you're locked up. You don't have to do anything with him. So he's locked up. He's there. The initial feeling that I had was they're going to do this for one to 2 years tops. Because the other side that you always have when you lock these long-term deals in is injury. First of all, he is at a prime right now. He's at the right age. He's at that place where Kreider started to say, I'm going to take that next step in my hockey development. JT Miller is a great forward. There's no doubt. I had a problem when the Rangers traded him. Like, I didn't like it. So for me, I got to be honest with you. When you're telling me 8.835 for Strutzel, and I hear 8 at 7 for a JT Miller, somebody's agent should get fired, and it should be JT Miller's. Or they went to him and said, hey, look, you're going to be able to get traded. When you get traded, we'll make a contract adjustment with a bigger market.
Yeah. There has to be more to it than that.
Because he also couldn't want to stay there. They're not contenders.
That's true. Those were kind of the big deal signings. You know me, and I always like to find some of the fun stories, the lighter side, and the kind of bizarre. Here's an interesting one.
Wait, did another Russian hockey player vanish?
No, not to my knowledge. No other Russian hockey players have been banished or found. Kaprizov is still on the hunt. We don't know where he is. No. Here's an interesting one. A lot of talk about Carey Price. And Carey Price, pretty much done in Montreal. Montreal came out and said, hey, we don't see how he's going to play in Montreal this upcoming season. But this was an interesting little blip that I heard. Did you know? I need a little charm or music for that. Did you know?
Hold on.
Carey Price.
Hold on. Oh. I'll give you some music. Hold on.
All right. Did you know?
I did it.
Oh, okay.
All right, hold on. I'll give you another one. Ready?
I probably can't hear the music because I don't have my headphones in.
Good point.
It's streaming 101.
Fair enough.
Equal music. Carey Price played with one 80-point player his entire career, and that was Kovalev in Price's rookie year. Just to compare, Colorado had 4 80-point guys on their roster last year alone. So in Carey Price's entire career, he played with only one 80-point player. That's pretty crazy.
So the only thing I could say about Carey Price that I think is a fair analysis is the fact that when you take your pads off on the ice and they're still playing at the end of the game, just saying, maybe you're done. You're waving to people. You took your helmet off, sticks down, gloves off. You start literally taking off the pads, like from the knees down. Just saying, that might be it.
Yeah.
I think it sends the wrong message.
So bizarre. And, so many people talk about Carey Price and how good he is, but he never really had that huge run that everyone expected to in Montreal. Montreal just wasn't good enough. But when you look at something like that and say he only played with one big-time point getter, and that was in his rookie year, kind of explains a whole lot. Here's one about our good friend, Uncle Phil. Phil Kessel, the hot dog man himself.
Mullet man. He's now known as the Mullet Man.
Yeah, he has signed elsewhere, right? He's now with the Vegas Golden Knights, which scratch my head, really bizarre signing.
I don't get it.
Why, Phil, did you go to Vegas? But listen to these two kind of milestone dates. He's on an Ironman streak right now, right?
Yeah.
Phil? On October 24th, he could tie the NHL Ironman streak at 989 games. You know who Vegas is playing on October 24th? the Toronto Maple Leafs. So he could tie the record playing the Maple Leafs. Then on November 17th, he could play his 1,000th consecutive game against, you know who? The Arizona Coyotes.
Which would be hilarious.
So isn't that interesting that he could tie the record and then play his 1,000th game against two of his former teams? That's crazy how these schedule things line up like that.
It would be hilarious if it happened. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, the hockey gods have weird senses of humor. And
They certainly do.
this one would be up there because he leaves, goes to the Golden Knights, which why? But whatever. Hey, look, maybe they'll start to treat him better. You know, you get to this place where you start to go, yeah, I don't know. Jordan, how are you? Good to see you over here.
What's up, Jordan?
You know, it's one of those where there's a lot of things that have happened this year. And look, we get to sit here and kind of second guess everybody and this and that, but Phil Kessel, I would call him Old Man River. You know, how much hockey does he really have left at a high level? I don't know. Look, I have absolutely no room to talk. Ryan Reeves is still a Ranger.
Yep. Talk about the gift that keeps on giving.
Dude, we're getting rid of Niles Lundqvist because we can't get him in because we have too many defensemen. But Ryan Reeves is going, what? Take this guy, shoot him out of a potato cannon, put Niles Lundqvist on the bench and let him play 8 minutes a night, 6 minutes a night, 7 minutes a night. It's more than Ryan Reeves is going to play, and it'll be more effective hockey. Instead, we're looking at trading him to Vancouver, okay, in return for, I don't even know what, because they don't have a prospect player of the same caliber. I just don't get it. And I keep sitting now. What's funny is who were the Rangers associated with on Vancouver for the last 18 months. JT. Now, all of a sudden, we have Niles Lundqvist and a draft pick potentially going to Vancouver. Well, we didn't want a rental. When we started talking about trades, it was funny because I was like, well, wait a second. You know, you locked somebody up and now all of a sudden we're going to sit here and we're not going to talk about the fact that this guy was literally inked to the Rangers like 15 times. You know, and it's just, wow, she's angry tonight. Hey, look, just because Don Cherry did something, don't take it out on us. You know, at the end of and by the way, if Don Cherry didn't say it, must not be true. So, you know, I would say this though, all seriousness, JT Miller has been linked to us for a long time. It's a low mileage deal. We're giving up Lundqvist and a draft pick. It's already been confirmed that we're talking to Vancouver. I just think it's odd because there's no player named in the trade but Lundqvist and a draft pick.
Yeah.
Why?
And talking about trades, we haven't talked about yet this whole Patrick Kane situation, and it seems to be getting more and more bizarre by the moment. Apparently,
yeah, this is crazy.
He came out and said the three teams he'd be okay to go to are the Rangers, the Maple Leafs, and I stopped listening after there.
Yes, me too. It's funny you should say that.
So, like, I don't know how on earth Toronto makes that deal works unless Nylander goes the other way. But if either one of our two teams was to land Kane, holy cow, does that change this season around big time?
Yeah, I don't.
Do you
disagree.
think he actually is going to end up on one of our teams? I'd be shocked.
I don't think we have the cap space. You guys might. I don't. I mean, that much is for sure. Like, I definitely don't have it. So, you know, I would say this. It's literally one of those things where I just can't imagine the Rangers getting him. You guys might have the ability to make some moves. We don't have that ability. So I can't see for 1 second the fact that the Rangers could actually make that happen.
They would have to pull. They'd have to pull something magical out. But I don't know why he wouldn't go to Buffalo. They have money, and look what they're doing. Like, as much as I love Toronto, like Buffalo's almost as good of a team if you add Patrick Kane.
Dude, they become pretty special if that happens. I got to be honest with you. I just don't understand.
His hometown.
I don't understand exactly, and that's the other side of it. Is you are talking about hometownitis right there, and it's like, well, wait a second, that just doesn't make any sense to me. And I can't get there. Like I have a hard time believing for 1 second that the Rangers are going to pull him. You guys, like I said, you have a good shot at it. I just don't see the Rangers pulling it. I think it's an odd thing at the very best that that this is. By the way, it's still going on though, which I think is even weirder. In some respect, it's kind of like, well, wait a second, like, how did that happen? Like, I don't get it. So
we're talking 2 weeks away from preseason starting, and if this is going to happen, you think it's going to happen like really, really, really soon. Excuse me. We saw kind of what the Tkachuk trade demanded, and a top NHL player, a secondary kind of okay NHL player, and some pick. So I don't think Toronto would be willing to give up that much. But man, if you were to move someone like Nylander and a prospect or two, that if you want to make something happen, the big thing with Toronto is Dubas has this kind of love affair with his guys that he signed, right? He wants to stick by them, wants to see it happen. So he'd have to get over his ego a little bit to pull off that trade and make it happen. Seeing what he did with Mrazek, I think he realizes now he can make a move and shake it off. And while I don't think it's likely to happen, God, that would be something special.
Could I imagine an opening night or any night with Patrick Kane wearing red, white, and blue? Yeah. Okay. As a matter of fact, there's a couple. There might even be a piece I'd be willing to get rid of to make that happen. But at the end of the day, no, I just don't see it. I mean, in odd news. Okay, obviously, I played my tribute to Captain Trouba. He sold his condo in Florida for $1.9 million, all cash.
Interesting.
I just thought it was a weird headline that I wanted to share with you. It was like, it's just crazy that that they put that up. Bernie, what's happening? Yeah, I thought the same thing about Kings. The problem is they're only talking about the Canucks right now, and it's just odd. But the Kane situation for me is something where I'm literally scratching my head because the 3 teams he wants to go to, it would be a king's ransom to get him. What would you guys have a lot of pieces you could move to make that happen. For us, we lost 4 main players during the offseason because we just didn't re-sign them. So we don't have a lot to give up that would not really change the face of the Rangers.
Well, you did sign that superstar in Kravtsov, so that's
man, I'll tell you what, I would love to get rid of that kid. Nothing would make me happy.
Charlie, Phil, and I don't know, Dave, you obviously didn't watch a lot of the Canada-US game, but Phil's sister,
there was
Amanda Kessel was she's probably one of the greatest U.S. women's hockey player. I would go out on a limb and say of all time. She is spectacular. Doesn't eat like Phil, but man, she skate. Spectacular hockey player.
And that's the thing is well, apparently I suck. So actually, so do you. So I would say this: what game? But what it really boils down to, though, is like when we're talking about real hockey, NHL hockey. I just can't get off this. This is just too much fun. I even lost where I was going with it because I saw you you start to laugh, and I started to laugh too. I wonder if Jen dropped her stream, and that's why I'm getting a phone call.
All right. Well, you could take a look at that. Let me go over some wild facts because I love my wild facts, and I always have to say I haven't fact checked any of these wild facts, so I cannot confirm nor deny they are actually true facts, but they're wild and crazy. So let's talk some wild and crazy. First one out of the gate. Of all the players drafted between 2008 and 2021, so that's a pretty big stretch from 08 to 21. There's a lot of players that get drafted in there. Only 2 players have more career points than Connor McDavid.
Right.
Can you name them? So from 2008 to 2021, of all the players drafted, only 2 have more points, career points, than McDavid.
All right. Since you asked me that question and I wasn't listening the first time, now I'm listening. All right. So 2008 to 20, what? 21?
2008 to 2021. So it's a pretty large stretch.
2 players have more points than Connor McDavid.
Yes.
All right. So
Connor McDavid was drafted in 2015.
Right.
And he has 697 career points. Only 2 more players have more. And I'll give you a hint. Their draft years were 2008 and 2009.
Well, you're going to laugh, but if you went back to 08, I assumed one of them had to be from 08. So, I was like, well, why wouldn't we go back to 05? So it was like, all right. I would go with, does Stamkos fit into that? Stamkos and...
Yep. Stamkos is number 1 with 972 career points.
I can only think of Stamkos. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know who the other one is.
John Tavares, 895 career points.
I thought, I got to be honest, I thought that draft was earlier.
Yeah, that blows my mind. So 08 and 09, you have Stamkos and Tavares. They're the only 2 players drafted up to last year that have more career points than Connor McDavid, which just shows you how freaking good Connor McDavid is.
So I just want to say that what Derek put was the funniest thing ever because my phone rang and it was, now Dallas is calling to yell at you personally. That was fantastic.
So let's sticking on that theme. Here's one for Bernie. The most amount of goals since 2010. Most goals since 2010.
Jaromir Jagr.
Alex Ovechkin. Ovi is number 1 with goals since 2010 with 535, followed by Stamkos with 437.
I would have went with Stamkos, but okay.
Yeah, but here's that list. So we go Ovechkin, Stamkos, Tavares, Patrick Kane, where he goes, nobody knows. Crosby, Joe Pavelski, which surprised me. Didn't expect to see him on that list.
Right.
Brad Marchand, Jamie Benn, Phil Kessel, and Max Pacioretty. That's your top 10 of most goals since 2010.
That's mind-blowing, by the way. Some of the names that are on that list.
Crazy. Just crazy.
And let me tell you something. I hate half of those people.
Isn't that how it always works out?
I like Brad Marchand and Pacioretty. I can't stand them. Cannot stand them. Oh, when they were rumoring Pacioretty potentially to go to the Rangers, I'm like, I literally will stop watching. Like, wow. Dude, I hate him, and I hate Brad Marchand. Like, he's so bad for the game. I want him out of the league. I hate him.
Yeah.
By the way, Jonathan, would you do me a favor? Would you let Mike know, since he called me, that I'm kind of doing a live show? Thanks, Jonathan. Tell him if he needs something to just IG me. Thank you.
Talking about Ovechkin, I know Bernie's here, so this will probably be the only time I give Ovechkin, more props before I send my rookie goalies out to take him out. Ovechkin, in his first 407 games, he has 276 goals. Somebody else named Austin Matthews just completed his first 407 games. You know how many goals he has?
251.
You're not going to get. Oh, pretty close actually. 259 goals.
That's close.
So he's like pretty much 20, just under 20 goal difference from what Ovechkin did. So we're talking now, Ovechkin, chasing Gretzky's record. Could we be talking at some point about Matthews chasing Ovechkin's goal scoring record?
Could be.
That's
what I think is funny
wild.
is Derek actually brought up a point that I was curious about, because when you were naming off goals and he sat there and he said he was shocked Malkin's name wasn't ahead of some of those guys. I happen to agree with that. Even though I can't stand him either, I was shocked.
He's just had so much injury time.
Yeah.
It's probably he's probably like not far into the teens, but I think injury time has really affected Malkin. But now here's the real wild stuff, and this is what I love. I got 3 crazy wild facts for you. Talking about the great one, Wayne Gretzky. If you took away every goal Gretzky scored, did you know he'd still be the NHL's all-time points leader?
Isn't that insane? I actually read that not long ago, and somebody was like, oh, if you took that away, he still leads. And I was like, that really? Like, I know he had a gazillion assists. As a matter of fact, on the Rangers, when he was with the Rangers, his goal scoring was very low. His assists were through the friggin' roof. It was nuts.
I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Because we're 902 goals or whatever it is, take that away, and he's still the leader. Here's one for his counterpart, Mario Lemieux. That Mario Lemieux won the 92-93 Hart Trophy and Art Ross Trophy with 160 points in 60 games, despite missing nearly 2 months due to his treatments.
That's nuts. Crystal, how are you?
In 60 games. Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a little crazy to the fact that look, when a great player is truly great, it shows no matter what. And look, love or hate Mario Lemieux, and I think he was a gigantic baby sometimes. You have to give him props for what he went through, what he did, how he handled it, and the way that he went about, doing what he was doing. There's no way to take that away from him. And when you hear a stat like, hey, if you took every goal he ever had away, he would still lead the league in points. What? Lemieux
to me was one of those guys. He was damn good at the game, but he didn't love the game. Had he loved the game,
I agree,
he would have smashed Gretzky's records, because he had the size that Gretzky didn't.
The funny part about what you just said is, I always thought that, and I always said it, but no one ever agreed with me. And you're the first person to ever say that. Like, he didn't love the game, and everyone's like, why do you say that? And it's like, listen to him talk about the game. There's a difference between, like, when you watch Wayne Gretzky and he's talking about anything or this or that's about the league, there's a passion about it. Even today, like when he's in between periods and he's still talking and he's still interactive. It's like he lived and breathed it. Mario went up into the owner's box and was like, the hell with all of you. Yeah. And I just always thought that, but no one's ever said it. I felt the same way about Lindros, by the way.
Yes, 100%. I'd never say it to either one of their faces.
I would. They got a lot of money. Let them hit me.
And I'm sure in their own minds, they love the game. They spent their lives, they dedicated it to their craft. But there's one thing about really loving the game and really loving the game. And I don't think they had it. They were good at it. They were great at it. They just didn't have that extra passion.
Jonathan even put it in. Wayne has passion in his talk. And that's the difference, is when you listen to him, you can see him talk about it like it's a love affair. And it's like, first of all, when you watch him at 16 years old, he loves the game. When you watch him at 26 years old, he loves the game. When you watched him the last game at Madison Square Garden, you knew he loved the game. You see him at 56 years old commentating, he loves the game.
Yeah.
And you can see it. And it's an amazing thing to watch. Versus some, like we always joke around about, like the in-between periods. It's like, oh, well, the team played great. And, we did this together. And, it's always about the team. It's inbred in them now. Like, it's told, this is what you do. This is hockey speak. Where'd that come from? People like Wayne Gretzky. who
Yeah.
would not, as great as he was and is, still does not put the onus on him.
So true. So let me ask you this. I got two more. Do you recall your major accomplishments or what you had done by the age of 25? I don't. I know I had graduated school, probably started working.
I have like three, but yeah. Okay. They weren't wherever you're going.
Yeah. Both Wayne Gretzky and Connor McDavid are the only players in NHL history with 4 Art Ross trophies, 2 Hart trophies, 3 Ted Lindsay awards, and 5 100-point seasons by the age of 25.
By the way, Melon Man, what's happening? I didn't have those accolades.
No, I only had 3 Art Rosses and 1 Hart. I think they were the McDonald's trophies.
I was going to say I held a Big Mac trophy. I definitely had. I can't say that we're not on Bearshark TV.
Even if you take all the trophies away, 5 100-point seasons alone is ridiculous. Then you add in everything else, and
well, I mean, the only thing that I could say that most car salespeople would say, because most people don't know this, but I actually put myself through college selling cars, and the only thing I can say to you is this: if you know anybody who's ever was in the industry, especially back when I was that age, which seems like when they were actually hand cranking cars to start them, I used to sell 52 to 55 cars a month, and people would sit there and be like I would go into sales meetings and they'd be like, oh, I sold 18 cars. I'm at the top of the board. I'm like, so I can appreciate greatness when I see it, because at the end of the day, these guys are phenomenal. They're the best at what they do. I can't even imagine having accolades like what you're talking about. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, to us out in the real world, what you just said was like, that's why when you're like, do you know what you did before you were 25? And I'm like, yeah, it was not great. Like, I know where you're going, but no, you're about to make us look really bad, Sam. Thanks.
Yep, just doing my part. All right,
I appreciate that.
This one is a kind of yes or no in your thoughts. I know what Gator Ghost is going to think here. But after 2 Stanley Cup championships, 2 Morris Richard winning seasons, and 972 career points, does Steven Stamkos belong in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree too. Very, very easily. There's been a lot of talk lately of people going in and having, not necessarily even having Stanley Cup champions, but when we looked at the Sedins going in just recently, and they were good hockey players, but I don't think they were Hall of Fame hockey players. These are the type of stats, and again, yes, he was on a great team and they were able to have a couple Stanley Cups, but 972 career points, and he's still playing, right? He's going to crack the 1,000-point barrier. Those are the type of stats you want to see for somebody who gets into the Hall.
Here's where I can make a comparison to anybody who goes, oh, you got to have the championships in order to go in. All right, let me make this really simple. Barry Sanders played for the worst team in the history of the world. The man deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, period. Now, conversely, let me say this. Tony Romo does not belong in the Hall of Fame. He had incredible yardage. He had a great passing percentage, but the man cracked under every possible pressure scenario. That does not make you a pro. It makes you technically good. Because you're technically good does not make you great. If you're not great, you don't belong to go in, period. Tony Romo put up incredible numbers in an incredible era. He had incredible teams, and he couldn't do it. And the only time the game was on the line in the playoffs, he choked. He let the ball go, and it's his fault that they didn't go in. Next.
So what do you think of someone like Patrick Marleau? Does he deserve to go in?
No.
See, I'm one of those. My initial thought is he was the heart and soul of San Jose. Of course he does. But then when you start to look back and he's put up good numbers, but I'm kind of on the fence. I could see him getting in, but I don't think he's in the same caliber as some of the others. What about, we talked about Carey Price earlier. Do you see him as a Hall of Fame goaltender?
So you bring up an interesting stat because you were saying like he'd only had one player that that had over 80 points. Let me say this. There are times I feel like he carried the teams. He kept them in it to win it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not him choking. That's him rising up to it. That's a Barry Sanders type thing where just because your front line sucks and you're still getting 150 yards per game, how can you hold the guy because the team sucks? Like, you can't do that. Carey Price is on the fence for me. I'm leaning more towards yes than no, that I would say he deserves to go in. But the problem that you have to ask yourself is does he have the ability to go in comparative to whom? And it's like, well, because let's do it another way. I'll throw one at you now. Does Henrik Lundqvist deserve to go in?
In the fashion wing.
Yes. He's there with Sean Avery. They're going to do each other's hair.
I think it's the only way Sean Avery gets into the Hall of Fame is by buying a ticket.
The only way that he goes to the Hall of Fame is the first thing he's got to do is he's got to go find his skates at the bottom of the Hudson. If he can do that, I'll let him in. Right. But does Henrik Lundqvist deserve to go in?
I think he does. And only because, I mean, he had some adversity, right? He dealt with some stuff, but the way he played, he carried that team for several years. And this is my argument for Carey Price.
That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't necessarily the best player, but he was the best player, right? The Rangers at times would not have been as successful as they were if they had a different goaltender.
See, and I feel the same way. I look at Henrik Lundqvist and say, one goal. Okay, now if the Rangers had played better in front of him that night, the Rangers carry the cup. They beat the Kings. He gets to hoist that cup. But would that make the difference to me? No. He's a Vezina Trophy winner for a reason. He was nominated again. He carried the team. At times, he was called the unofficial captain on the ice. When you command the respect of everybody, and by the way, start to finish one team, yes, he went to the Capitals. I understand, but anyway, it's a different thing. And I look at Carey Price and I say, kind of the same thing. There are times that he kept that team in it. So I
think goaltenders are the only position that you can make that debate because they can steal a game.
Yes.
If you have one offensive player, they're not going to win you a game. You need to have your team perform. But a bad goalie can cost you a game. They can cost you a series.
Or they could rise up and absolutely dominate. And they become a brick wall. And no matter how bad they're playing in front of you, if their laser beam focuses on it, and I'm going to point to Shesterkin this year. Shesterkin kept the Rangers in it. The Rangers don't go to the third round without Shesterkin, period. Okay? I'm a Ranger fan. I have no problem in this world saying there's a chance they don't make it to the playoffs without him.
100%. We saw it with Vasilevsky at times, stood up, shutting the door, finishing off series. You need a goalie. Listen, Marc-Andre Fleury, when he first went to Vegas, when Vegas came in and had that Cinderella season, Vegas doesn't go to the Stanley Cup final if they didn't get some outstanding goaltending at times.
And I think that's the point though, is when you're talking about players in their career, I think it always, now let me ask you this. If you had to put up Lundqvist against Carey Price, which one's more deserving?
Ooh.
So now you're talking about the substance, because you're going to sit there and say which goalie deserves to go in more. And at that argument, I put Lundqvist above Carey Price. 2 reasons. A, I'm a Ranger fan, and I hate Carey Price. But third is the Rangers did rely on Lundqvist a lot, and Lundqvist did rise up. He was even though he wasn't a champion's champion, he was a player's champion. And if you listen to the way that every team talked about him, they didn't want to play him. That's like, to me, that's like he was the Lawrence Taylor of goaltenders. People don't want to play. They didn't want to play against Lundqvist in the beginning of his career. There were times where people were like, this guy's unbeatable. When you're using the words unbeatable, you're a champion.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you there. Bernie, you make a really, really good point. It is the Hockey Hall of Fame, and international play does come into a lot to do with it. Carey Price, he did have some international play himself, but there were always other Canadian goaltenders where he kind of got pushed behind, right? So he did get to shine a little bit more. Lundqvist did in international play. So
no doubt.
I mean, I put them both in. Lundqvist definitely kind of goes in first.
There's no doubt. And then, I mean, the other side of it is I always look at, when we were talking about Malkin, it's about health. How many games were you able to play? Were you an Ironman? What did you do for your team? What did you do off the ice? The Garden of Dreams, I don't think they have the success without Lundqvist. I don't believe that your play is 100% of who you are. I said it before about Barry Sanders. I'll say it again. This is a man who played for the worst team in the world. And he rose above it in every way imaginable. That when you can find a way to shine amongst the most horrific things on earth, in my opinion, you're worthy. And that's why I pointed to Tony Romo. Why? I hate the Cowboys. I mean, it's not hard. I hate them. I would love to. Never mind. But Tony Romo was so bad, especially when you're coming off the back of a Troy Aikman, where you had the 90s Cowboys, and then all of a sudden you go into the era of Romo, and everyone's like, he's the best. And I'm like, all right, so he threw 40 billion yards. He had a high passer percentage. He had an amazing team around him, but he could never level up. Yep. If he had risen up to it, the Cowboys had the ability to have a dynasty. They didn't do it because he sucked. So that's my opinion.
Well, that's a good one. And I guess as we're kind of drawing to an end, one thing I want to bring up now that we're a couple weeks away from hockey season is it's time to do a hockey pool. And I know we gotta figure out, we have a prize, or we're gonna have a prize that we're gonna announce. We just gotta come up with exactly what the entrance fee is gonna be. We can have a maximum of 20 teams. Right now I have a live draft scheduled for Wednesday, September 28th at 9 p.m.
Whoop, whoop.
So we could do it right here on this show. Or if you can't do it live, you can let it auto run and make your picks for you. But if you're interested in joining the draft, we're going to put the details together, but reach out to either Dave or myself on Instagram. Let us know you're interested in taking a team for this pool, and we're going to get this going. It's going to happen pretty quick because the draft is only a couple of weeks away. So we'll come up with what that is and what the entrance fee will be and get it out there.
So Derek's in. So yeah, what we're basically going to do, just so you guys kind of get an idea, Sam and I work with a particular partner. You guys, anybody who follows me on FPE knows who our sponsorship partner is. As a matter of fact, probably a good time to do this. Let's do this right now since we're all kind of sitting here chit-chatting. That one right over Sam's face. Yeah, hang on there. So basically what it comes down to for everybody is it's really, really simple. We are going to the Underminers show up since Dave's wearing the Incredibles t-shirt. That's awesome. We're working with Cloud9 Getaways. We're going to more than likely, what we're going to give away is a 4-day excursion to Las Vegas. It's for 4 people. So, trip for 4 to Vegas. I got to work out the details with Cloud9 Getaway. But it seems to me like that's what we're going to give away to our winner of our, to the winner of the. Why can't I? Am I having a stroke? What are we doing? It's a
Hockey pool.
Thank you, hockey pool. I'm sitting there. I'm like, what the hell's going on? So Cloud9 Getaways is going to be sponsoring that. You're going to see it on everything that we're doing. As a matter of fact, we're also going to be changing it so that there's going to be a ticker running so that you guys always are aware. Cloud9 Getaway supports not only Even Strength, FPEN Sports, but also FS. Who are you? Sam Welby 12 Experience. I'll tell you what. So, we're going to be doing that with Cloud9 Getaway, and it's going to be a trip to Vegas for the winter. We're getting the entry fee worked out. Sam's got it set up on Yahoo. Reach out to us, and we'll be happy to get you guys set up. There's only 20 spots. I will not be participating. Are you participating?
I will participate, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave mine as an auto draft. So I'm not actually going to draft because I set it up, so I have to have a spot.
All right. So I'll commish to make sure the deals are fair when they trade. If there's any proposed trades, if there's any problems, obviously I will oversee just to make sure so that this way there's no impropriety. Let me also say this. Sam can't win. So don't be like, well, Sam's going to win. No, Sam can't win. If Sam wins, I'll tell you what. We will put all 20 names on a wheel. There are 19 names on a wheel, and we will spin it for you guys to win it. So if you get into this, one of you will win a trip to Vegas. That much I can guarantee. So, other than that, that's what we're going to be doing with that. So we hope you guys will enjoy that. That'll be a little bit of fun, and this way we can kind of do updates on Even Strength as we kind of move forward with that as well.
Sounds good. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a lot of fun. A chance to get in for a fun little fantasy pool, small, intimate pool, and big potential for a prize. So we'll get that entry fee out soon so you guys can decide if you're in or not. And, hey, someone's going to go to Vegas. It's not going to be me, but I'll gladly look at your pictures.
Pictures are a must. So, couple things. What do you got going on?
Excuse me. This week, we have off the rest of this week, but we're getting back in the game on when are we getting back in the game? Sunday, September 11th. Is that Sunday?
Yes.
Whatever day it is, September 11th, Jays, Texas Rangers, and then the 14th, Jays versus Tampa. So we have a couple of Jays games coming up. Then my birthday stream coming up on the 20th. We are going to be doing the Phillies and the Jays. And that's going to kind of take us into preseason and kick off our doubleheader on the 24th. So lots of good stuff coming up. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We have a birthday week, you and I.
And it's awesome.
It's going to be awesome. Sam's on the 20th. I'm 26th. So we're going to have some fun with that. This weekend, for those of you who don't know, we stream in the parks almost every day. Saturday is my 11-year wedding anniversary to my wife, who I must have drugged in order to keep her around for 11 years. It's actually 16 years that she's been with me. I don't get it, but whatever. I'm not saying anything, and I'm sure I'm not going to point it out to her. For the Bearshark moving forward, have you seen the commercial for the Bearshark?
I have, and it's outstanding.
We will, when we leave tonight, everybody, I have a promo for Bearshark tomorrow. I will be doing my first tirade on Bearshark TV. Bearshark TV is not like anything that you see on the FPE Sports Network. It has nothing to do with sports. Doesn't mean there won't be sports involved. Thank you, Gator. It has nothing to do with Disney or anything else. Doesn't mean we won't be highlighting them. It is borderline rated R. If you are easily offended, please, for the love of God, do not subscribe. I do not care about your feelings. I don't care what you think. It's my opinion. If you don't like it, please don't be there, because I will pick on you if you say something in the chat. Yeah. So tomorrow we will be discussing my car accident and the insurance company. I will be going off on that.
I'm glad it's not going to be going off about some Canadian who keeps asking all these hockey questions.
No, Canadians and hockey questions. I love them. Maybe I'll do a segment on the Canadian. Never mind. So, basically, we're going to be doing a lot with Bearshark TV. Also on FPE, we have treasure boxes. If you guys don't know about it, go over and watch a video we did from home yesterday. We're going to be opening a new segment for people who want park merch, whether it's from Universal or Disney. So tons of stuff going on. We'll be back on the air Sunday also. We're going to be doing the Giant Game 425, so right here on sports. So we're going to be doing that as well. So Sam and I are going to be back in full swing doing sports again. He's got baseball. I got football until hockey season kicks off. Florida Park Explorers, obviously, if you're looking for park time, you want to go watch Jen do some shopping, ride some rides right now. As a matter of fact, when we get off here, Jen's over on Tomorrowland Speedway in Magic Kingdom. So go check it out. There should be a Tron update as well. What's going on with Vegas? Lucas, we are going to be doing a hockey pool, and it's open to 20 different people, 19 different people. So the winner of that will be getting a Vegas trip. So contact either myself or Sam. I would contact Sam since he actually has access to the league and knows what he did and probably has the details. Just saying. So other than that, we're gonna have some fun with it. Bernie actually just beat me to what he's always in my head. When the Rangers and Toronto do play, we will stream it together. Sam will call the game, and I'm simply just going to be a smartass because that's what I do best. Sam is a tremendous, tremendous sports broadcaster. So it will be a lot of fun for me to pretty much be his Bob Uecker and let him just go off and do what he does best. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing a lot of things coming up on both channels, both separately and together. He is my partner channel. We're proud to be partnered with him. So anything else?
That's it. Just can't wait counting down these next 2 weeks. It's so close.
Is it bad that I have a commercial sitting down below and I don't know what it's for?
No, not at all. Should we just run it?
I have no idea what it is. You know what? It'd be way funnier to find out. Let's find out what it is. Oh, that was the opening. I'm looking down below and it's a black screen and I'm like, well, what is that? And I was like, I already played the Cloud9 commercial. I'm like, what else could it be? Anyway, so that's what's coming up for us. It's good to be back talking hockey with you, Sam. It was fun doing this week.
Likewise. It's funny. I know it was only a couple of weeks, but it seems like it was way too long.
It really does. It really looked like it took a long time to get moving. 12:29 game, Dave. Am I going? I don't actually have any plans to go to games at the moment. And I'll tell you why. One of the things, and I'll leave you guys with this. This will be a Bearshark TV rant one of these days. The fact that you can't take your kids to a game and not worry about some stupid ass throwing a punch at you because you're on the other side of the team, it's just not the way we should be doing this. I was appalled by the Rangers fan. By the way, kind of a Rangers fan. I was appalled by the actions of that Rangers fan. It is disgusting how we act in this world nowadays. But this will be a Bearshark TV rant. This is just not the way we do things. And the way that we act because we can't go anywhere and just have fun. We got to go get bombed and act like idiots. And it's a bad thing because I would love to take my 10-year-old and show her what a hockey game is like without some dumbass doing something stupid. I would really like to pass it on to the next generation. And that's what we need for hockey to grow, is for the next generation to pick up the torch and to move it forward. So at the moment, I don't have plans for it because we live in the wild, wild west. And I would love to see us get a little decorum back in the world, especially as hockey fans. I'm disappointed. From football, I kind of expect it, but with hockey, no reason for it. They can go out and battle for 7 straight games, shake hands at the end, no matter how bad or how dirty the hit was. We should follow suit. And with that, I'm done ranting for the moment. We'll save the rest for Bearshark TV. Sam, can I be a part of the whole Vegas thing? So Lucas wants in too. Reach out to Sam on IG and he'll get you set up with that. Derek, do the same. He's easy to find. I think. Margie, you're pretty.
Yeah, just Samuel B12 on Instagram. Find me, send me a note there. We'll chat. Maybe we'll chat. We'll just sort out what we're going to do for the entrance fee. We'll let you guys know, and if you want in, we'll get you set up.
Maybe what we'll do is we'll run a poll on
Sure.
and see what people think about what the entrance fee should be. I always like to give everybody an option. And then last but not least, when it comes down to it, what we'll do is we'll set up an email so that this way everybody can, or maybe a Facebook group or something, so we can all kind of talk some trash. Because half the fun of doing football, of doing hockey pools, is the trash talking. As long as we keep it friendly and we don't bully anybody, I want it to be upbeat and fun, just like you would be here in the show. Same rules will apply. We have a good time. We talk some trash and go from there. So, and with that, anything else?
That's it.
Let's run a Bearshark TV promo because it's friggin' hilarious. Guys, we'll see you next Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take care, everybody.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back on YouTube. Finally, a channel that makes sense.
What the hell was that?
A channel that attacks the stupidity of it all.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Most importantly, a channel that makes fun of it all. Bearshark TV. What else would you expect?